Hi, my name is Lewis, and today we're going to talk about how political revolutions occur. So, the general causes for each revolution is a harsh lifestyle for the masses, unfair treatment of the subject of a ruler, more power to the nobles and the leaders than the citizens, too much control enforced upon the people, government doesn't take care of citizens' needs, and economic struggles. Some of the general causes for the American Revolution, however, were that they began by taxation without representation, and they also would enforce too many laws and policies against the people through mercantilism and trade that benefited mostly England but not the colonies. Also laws such as the Navigations Act, which restricted colonial trade, making no wealth for the colonists and more for Britain. These policies that Britain placed on the colonies, such as the salutary neglect that gave the colonies economic freedom, but as British needed to pay debt, they revoked this policy and controlled highly over the colonies, causing a revolution. Some of the specific events that led to this revolution were the British Tea Party, which dumped most of the tea because of the Tea Act, of tax tea, and favored the East India Company. Also, a meeting in Boston protesting the Greenville measures. James Otis first discussed the coupling of taxation without representation and calls for the colonies to unite. This forms the revolutionary leadership led to the masses to unite against England and fight for their beliefs. What happened to the leaders due to this revolution was that they, because of the Treaty of Paris, not much happened to the leaders besides the America was handed to the colonists and England stayed with their portion of England. However, because of this, an emerging government occurred in the Americas, which was a sort of republican government which gave more freedom to the people than to the government. And that's my presentation. Thank you.
My name is Mila, Sanchez, and today I'll be presenting the French Revolution. To first start off with the general causes. The first general cause of the French Revolution was the nation's debt. The second cause was the egalitarianism philosophy. And the third cause was the denial of basic rights to the citizens. Now moving on to the specific events. The first event was Louis XVI being aggravated from the French involvement in the American Revolution because the nation did not have enough money for war, which caused the nation's debt. Louis XVI then set higher rules by reducing privileges to the citizens. Then another event was the egalitarianism philosophy, which was when people were told to be equal, but they weren't in many ways, which led to conflicts. And then another event was how citizens were under an absolute monarchy, which meant they had denial to their basic rights and had no say in the government. The revolutionaries of the French Revolution. Louis XVI was the king, but was deposed during the French Revolution, so he was killed. Then Napoleon Bonaparte was a general who ended the revolution from overthrowing the Directory, which was the fourth government type in the French Revolution. The current government during the revolution had, well, for France specifically, was four governments. So the first government was the National Assembly, which was created because of unfair tax laws. Then once that was done, the second government was the Legislative Assembly. The third government was the First Republic, which was for liberty and equality, and they also executed King Louis XVI during that government era. And then the fourth government type was the Directory, which was the last government, and that is when Napoleon Bonaparte overthrew it and then took over as emperor. What happened to the leaders? So, I already said this, but King Louis XVI was killed during the revolution. And all the men under his rule and his name were also killed. Then the emerging government that pretty much came afterwards of the four government types were Napoleon Bonaparte, which he crowned himself emperor after he overthrew the Directory.
Hi, my name is Farah, and today I will be presenting the Mexican Revolution. So some background information about the Mexican Revolution is that it began in 1910 and ended in 1920. It began when Porfirio Diaz had to find a managed solution to the presidential succession. Some causes of the Mexican Revolution were that there was unfair treatment to the subject of a ruler, and another reason was that there's more power to nobles and leaders than citizens. A specific event leading to the Mexican Revolution was that there was tremendous disagreement among the Mexican people over the dictatorship of President Porfirio Diaz. The revolutionaries. They consisted of Francisco Madero, Pascal Orozco, Pancho Villa, and Emiliano Zapata. And the type of government at the time of the revolution was a dictatorship. The steps the government took at the time of the revolution were: in 1820, liberals took power in Spain, and the new government promised reforms to appease the Mexican revolutionaries. Then, in response, Mexican conservatives called for independence as a means of maintaining their privileged position in Mexican society. The result of government leaders after the revolution. In 1822, as no Bourbon monarch to rule Mexico had been found, Augustin de Iturbide was proclaimed the Emperor of Mexico. Emerging government. Iturbide's empire was short-lived, and in 1823, Republican leaders Santa Anna and Guadalupe Victoria deposed Iturbide and set up a Republican government with Guadalupe Victoria as its first president. Thank you.